What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is going to be Arrow Season 1, Part 2 review. I'm actually going to go from Episode 10 all the way down to 17. It's really hard trying to do full season reviews for this and for Arrow because of how strangely they have it set up. Like, the mid-season finale is Episode 9, and they have 23 episodes in a season. So for Arrow, I just did 9, 7, and 7, and then I'm like, wait, they have another break at like episode 8 or episode 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go 8 episodes. They did have a little bit of a break there, so this was a really good second part of the season. I mean, I do still have some problems, just with it's kind of recurring problems from the first review that I talked about. How I'm still kind of frustrated how they're revealing all of this about Harrison Wells, and it's just, I don't know, it feels like you could leave some mystery in there. Of course, the way they handle some of it though is still very good. I just wish that we had been getting more of this now without having knowing that he is not who he says he is. This last episode, Tricksters, there's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Namely, figuring out who Harrison Wells really is, because he's not Harrison Wells. It's clearly a guy from the future who managed to change his appearance to Harrison Wells. I would be more surprised if I didn't know everything, from from the first part of the season. Seeing Harrison Wells talking to Gideon in the first, well, not to Gideon, but he was pulling up this article. He's standing up. He's not who he says he is. So that if I did have one problem with this second part of the season, it is that. It's the fact that there's not a whole lot of mystery surrounding Harrison Wells. It seems like they're just giving us all this information about it. We're figuring out more and more about him, but none of it's really surprising because of what they've shown us so far about him. I feel like it could have been a lot more shocking. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. It starts off fairly interesting, having Snart and McRory team up for the first time in this show. Obviously, in Legends of Tomorrow, I've been watching that, and they're together in that, and they're a team working together. So this is the first time seeing them together, Fire and Ice, and it was a good episode. Kind of a precursor for what happens later in the season, but it was a good episode to open up with. Then the next one really gets things going. It really kicks it off. The Sound and the Fury, which is the one with Hartley, Professor Wells' protege, who went evil in the worst possible way, develops these sound resonating gloves and almost kills Barry in the process, but Wells managed to stop him. And yeah, it was another episode that was kind of a precursor for what's to come. And in fact, the very next episode, Hartley manages to convince Cisco to let him out to find out what happened to, what's his name? Crap. Hang on, Ronnie. He convinces him to, let him out. Let's go research what happened to Ronnie. You're curious, so am I. But manages to escape somehow because Cisco just didn't expect him to, I guess. I don't know. As a viewer, I'm sitting here watching like Cisco. He's got something up his sleeve. Don't trust him. But I can understand at the same time. You think that you have the upper hand, so you kind of let your guard down, and that figuring out about Martin Stein and Ronnie combining is shocking information, which caused him to let his guard down even more, which gave Hartley the chance to pull something else out of his ear. When he did it the first time with the explosives, I was like, oh no, stop. It hurt me. But that leads into the next episode, Crazy for You, where we find out about Ronnie and Martin Stein, find out that they fused together, find out where they are, find out more about Firestorm. No, wait. That's not it. I'm sorry. The Nuclear Man. Crazy for You is when Cisco lets Hartley out. Nuclear Man is when they find out about Ronnie and Martin. And it's a little bit heartbreaking to see Caitlin finally manages to find her long-lost fiancé, and it's not him. It's his body. It looks like him, but Martin Stein is controlling the body with, it's his mind. So it's kind of disappointing for her, and I totally understand that. It really did kind of hurt my heart a little bit. I'm like, oh, poor Caitlin. And yes, I do have a soft spot for Caitlin Snow because it's Danielle Panabaker. I mean, she was one of those Disney Channel / Nickelodeon stars that just kind of I fell in love with as a kid. She's still looking good. Anyway, but the end of that episode kind of it literally ends with a bang. He explodes. So that kind of leads into the next episode. It's like, what's going to happen? What's going on? And then they getting rained down on by all of this ash and soot, and it's just like, oh no, we need to get out of here before radiation. Wait, there's no radiation. Realize the separation worked. The interesting thing about this episode, though, is the General Eiling returns. And there were hints towards Grodd in that one episode, but in this one we actually get to experience him, because after Wells stops, Barry stops Eiling and his whole thing, Wells uses his reverse flash powers to take Eiling down to the sewer. Yes, I'm binge watching this very late, so don't judge me. But he takes him down to the sewer where Grodd is staying, and all of a sudden you hear like a voice, and it's just like, it's in my head. It's like, oh, it's Gorilla Grodd. And sure enough, Tyr comes down the hallway, big and scary, and drags him down. I'm like, oh, bye, Eiling. It was not nice to know you. You were kind of a jerk. But yeah, it was... The thing I liked about this episode, though, it was the introduction of Firestorm, and they finally learned how to use their powers combined together. Obviously, in Legends of Tomorrow, Martin has a new person to combine with, so I feel like something's going to happen to Ronnie. We'll figure it out later. Hopefully they've got something there. But then the next episode. The only way I can describe this, it's Out of Time, name of the episode. I cannot believe the chances they took with this episode. And honestly, I was like, there's no way all this just happened. There is no way. And I'm just sitting here the whole time watching the episode like, I mean, my reaction for most of that was just a shocked expression because of everything that happened. You've got Cisco finding out about Wells. Caitlin tries to distract him while Cisco's doing all this stuff, so he figures out that this whole recording thing happened during the Reverse Flash. You've got Clyde Martin's brother, also survived the plane crash with him, got his own weather powers that now he's using to try to take out Joe, who ends up with like several broken bones and convinces Iris to come, and so Barry's like, I'm going to come with you, and then he starts a tidal wave that's about to wipe out the city, and, Iris admits she has feelings for Barry, he admits he has feelings for her, and then reveals the fact that he's the Flash, and then meanwhile Harrison Wells shows up as, in the basement. He's standing in front of Cisco. He's like, I am the Reverse Flash. She's like, I wish you hadn't found out about this. You reminded me what it's like to have a son. And then his hand starts vibrating. I'm like, no, They can't. And I'm like, oh, what? What? All of this is going on. It's all going on at about the same time. Harrison Wells kills Cisco. Actually, he says his name in that episode. It's like Yorlin. One second. He did say his name, and I totally forget it now because it was kind of a difficult name to remember. Really? Really? Ooh. Eobard Thawne. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is kind of a strange name, but anyway, it reveals his true identity. So it's like, okay, so he really isn't Harrison Wells. You know, I've been wondering about that, because it did seem like this Harrison Wells was a bit different. Anyway, but he reveals his identity. He then kills Cisco. Meanwhile, you know, Joe is lying on the pier broken while Martin is raising up a tidal wave. Barry and Iris are talking, and then they admit their feelings, and then they kiss, and then he realizes, I need to stop this tidal wave. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. Turns into the Flash and starts running back and forth. And it's just all going on. I'm like, he's got to stop the tidal wave. I can't believe all this is happening. What is going on? And all of a sudden, and he's running next to his doppelganger again. And all of a sudden he stops. He's at the day before, and I'm like, he just traveled through time. What? It was perfect. They could not have handled it any better. Because the thing is, some people may look at that and say, "Oh, you just chickened out of killing, you know, main character." First of all, without Cisco, there is no team. You can't. Imagine for a second that they had killed off Felicity or John Diggle in the Arrow. Imagine for a second that they killed off, I don't know. No. Anyway, my point is that they have a team going on. It's the four if you count fake Harrison Wells. It's the four of them working as a team. It's Barry, it's Cisco, and it's Caitlin. They're working together. You know, if you kill off one of those members, you've lost something. You've lost the team aspect. And it's not easily replaced. It's not like, you know, you look at shows like Criminal Minds or NCIS where they have a team of people. Somebody ends up leaving the team or somebody gets killed. Well, it's okay. We can bring somebody else in to fill that role because it's not a difficult role to fill. It's not like anybody can fill it, but there are other agents, there are other people out there who can do what these people that are not on the team anymore can do. Not hardly anybody can do what Cisco can do. You know, it just wouldn't make sense to kill him off. And so I'm thinking, there's no way he's actually dead. Like, Barry's gonna find a way to keep him alive, right? And so to have him run through time back to the day before, I was just like, okay, I accept it. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, Deus Ex Machina, how cliche. But this is handled very well because it's part of the story. It's part of what's going on with Barry Allen. He is eventually going to run so fast, he travels through time. And this is just the start. And even though he doesn't realize that he saved Cisco's life in all of this, he did. And it worked out very well. The next one is called Rogue Time. Not exactly as interesting as I was hoping it was going to be. I was hoping it was really going to throw some wrenches into it. And when Harrison Wells was talking about that concept of the timeline will always try to write itself again, it made me think of Legends of Tomorrow, where Rip Hunter has pretty much said the same thing several times. You know, the timeline is always going to work to get itself back to what it was before. So I'm thinking, are Snart and Rory going to do something with like mixing their guns that's going to make a tidal wave? You know, is Cisco going to die anyways in this timeline? Like it was supposed to happen anyway? They didn't really do anything like that. You know, there are certain things that did stay the same. You know, Harrison Wells, fake Harrison Wells, still had that talk with Cisco, but about you reminded me what it's like to have a son, but this time it was in a Cisco, you can't leave the team, instead of a Cisco, I'm going to kill you type thing. Um, so that is interesting that certain things did stay the same, but some things changed. For one, obviously, there was no huge tidal wave to destroy the city, which I thought was weird because he was talking like there was going to be something that was going to destroy the city. Nothing really happened like that. Um, Iris, I knew this was coming. Whenever Barry was talking like everything was going to be the same, I'm like, no, it's not. He breaks up with Linda, thinking that Iris has these feelings for him. I'm like, dude, you realize that none of what happened in this alternate timeline has happened yet. And most of that stuff probably played into her feelings for you. Like, I don't know, he just seemed like he was so naive about it all. Which, it's not that I don't get it, it's not that I'm saying that's stupid and wrong and how come the writers wrote it that way. It makes sense to some extent, but at the same time, it's frustrating as an audience member going, you idiot! Open your eyes! And he just keeps making stupid decisions. Tries to admit his feelings again. Luckily, Caitlin does bail him out, though. So good thing she is such a great friend, or else he would have been in the crapper with Iris and Eddie. Let's see. Yeah, and then that leads up to this last episode of the second part of the season, Tricksters, which is, it has to be my favorite so far just because Mark Hamill is playing a Joker-like character. And I was actually doing a bit of research on it, and apparently he played the Trickster in an older version of this show, the 1990s version of The Flash. They actually had a live-action show then, and he played the Trickster back then, too. I was like, huh, that's weird. The shows aren't connected at all. Like, obviously, that's a different Flash than this. But it's kind of funny to see that he played the Trickster back then, and now he's playing the Trickster again 20 years later, which is how long ago that he attacked the city. Anyway, that was just kind of funny tidbit of information. But God, I love seeing Mark Hamill practically play the Joker, but not, seeing Mark Hamill do it. Because he's only played the Joker in the animated series, in the Batman Arkham games. So we haven't actually seen Mark, I'm sure they have some videos that shows Mark Hamill doing the voice, live. But to see him play a character, like in a TV show, that sounds and looks, well, not looks, but sounds and acts like the Joker, was so much fun. It was just, the voice, it gave me chills because of like, I'm hearing the Joker, but I'm seeing it too. I just wanted to be like, hey, bats! And then just, it's like, oh, sorry, wrong TV show. Something like that. Just something to really, I guess, call, or not a callback. What's the word? Reference, or homage, something. Paying homage to the greatest Joker. Well, there's going to be a lot of debate on that. Some people may say I'm stupid. But Heath Ledger was a great Joker, Jack Nicholson was a great Joker, but none of them have the voice. None of them have the laugh. Mark Hamill, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, there was a lot of stuff around this episode too, though. Like, that's what made this even better. Like, I've already got Mark Hamill playing a character that's like the Joker. It's already a great episode. On top of that, though, a lot of stuff is going on. We get to see kind of what happened at the Allen household back when Nora was killed. We get to see the Flash fighting Reverse Flash. Then he takes off the mask, and it's not Harrison Wells. It's a different guy. And then we get to see how he tracked down Harrison Wells, how he turned into him using some weird device thingy. I don't know. But we get to see that transformation. We get to see how he became Harrison Wells, or how he took the face of Harrison Wells. And then on top of that, in the episode before this, he killed... No. I think it was the episode before this. he killed Mason something. I can't remember his name. I just remember his first name was Mason because I'm like, that is a cool name. I don't know why I think it's such a cool name, but it really is such an awesome name. You know, like Mason. Okay, I'm just kidding. But anyway, he kills that guy at the end of the last episode, and then Iris is kind of like, where did he go? She's looking into it. Um, Barry and Joe kind of figure out that Harrison Wells had something to do with it, because this whole Simon Stagg thing, the story didn't go public, and now he's gone. So they realize that Harrison Wells is involved, or at least fake Harrison Wells. God, gotta stop doing that. And so they realize that if Iris doesn't stop, she could be in serious danger. So it ends with Barry revealing his secret identity to Eddie. And I was just like, I get it, but wow. Like, wow. That has some serious repercussions now. It has to. It can't just be breezed by like, oh, so you're the Flash. Nice, it's nice to finally meet you and kind of reintroduce. That's funny. I never would have suspected. Okay, move along. There's got to be something. There's got to be a little bit of friction. Especially because Iris talks about how she's met with the Flash before. And I'm sure Eddie's going to bring that to surface and like, hey, wait a minute. That means she was hanging out with Barry some more, and I don't like it. And on top of that, now the excuse that Caitlin gave him is kind of like, she lied about that, so I'm gonna punch you in the face again. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it was a very interesting ending to this second part of the season. Makes sense in the fact that he was able to convince Iris not to keep researching Simon Stagg, or not Simon Stagg, the Mason guy that disappeared. But yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes from here. But I mean, this is a good second part of the season. There's so much that I enjoyed. Obviously, some things that I enjoyed more than others, but it really was the best thing I can think of as far as what we got in the first season, or first part of the season, what we got kind of story-wise, what we got character-wise. This is the best thing I can think of. Where they went with it from here, Barry slowly finding out that Harrison Wells is connected somehow. Getting the reveal that he's not actually Harrison Wells in this part of the season. It feels like it's setting up towards the end, that we're not just going to find out at the end, oh, he wasn't actually Harrison Wells. No, they reveal all this before, so that as Barry is figuring this out, we already know, but it's fun to see, oh, he's getting it. He's getting it, guys. Guys, he's getting it. He understands now. And obviously it's going to lead up to the ultimate battle between Flash and the Reverse Flash, which makes me wonder about the timeline and how it's going to get screwed up from here. Obviously, this Yoblin, I don't care. Thawne, whatever his name is, it's going to happen anyway because obviously this guy is from the future. So what happened with Nora, all that is still going to happen. I kind of wonder if maybe Barry killed his own mother thinking she has to die or else the timeline gets ruptured and I don't become the Flash. And then none of this happens and it could cause a rupture of the space-time continuum. Like, if you really think about it, if Nora does not die, he's not in the lab that night researching all of that stuff, which means he doesn't get struck by the lightning, he doesn't become the Flash, he doesn't go back in time to save her. It's a paradox, and I'm sure that the timeline's not just going to be like, oh, paradox, we can fix. No, it's going to cause some serious issues. And I think I feel like the world's just going to crack in half. And something bad would happen. So I wonder if maybe after he took young Barry outside, I wonder if he went back in to talk to his dad. Because his dad kind of figured out about his secret identity in the one episode where they were trying to There was that one girl that was kind of reminded me of Nightcrawler, you know, like she could teleport places. Um, his dad was talking to him like he already knew that he was the Flash. And I was like, yeah, see, that was too easy. He figured that out way too easy, and he didn't have a whole lot of hints to go on. I think he already knew. So I'm wondering if Barry went back in and said, look, you die in this timeline. You know, if you don't die, I don't become the Flash. I don't come back in time to stop this guy, and you know, none of this happens. So he ends up killing his own mother to reserve the timeline, and telling his dad all of this, and that's why his dad's sort of reluctant to get out of prison, because he knows that it's actually future Barry that does it. Like, it kind of messes with your mind a little bit if you really think about it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it just, yeah. Because if you watch the fight, she doesn't die in the fight. It looked like the guy went to grab, like Reverse Flash went to grab young Barry, and then old Barry tackled him out of the way. So I think he wasn't there to kill Nora. I think he was there to kill Barry, young Barry, to keep him from ever becoming the Flash. So old Barry steps in, saves the day. But I don't know. The one thing that doesn't make sense is, where does it start? You know, because at some point, Nora had to get stabbed by somebody, and that turned Barry into the Flash. So I don't know. This whole time travel stuff has got my mind hurting now. Anyway, maybe we'll figure this stuff out at the end of the season. Maybe that's where the show is going. Like, we start to learn more about what's going to happen in the future, what he's going to have to do when he travels back in time, all that stuff. Maybe we'll figure that out more as it goes along. But for right now, I'm extremely happy with the show, and I can't wait to see how they finish this first season. And I'm going to have to wait for the second season to come on Netflix. Sucks. But anyway, for now, hey, got Mark Hamill as the Trickster. I hope he returns. I really, really do. That would be a whole barrel of fun. I could not stop smiling during that episode. It was just so much fun to see. Anyway, that's about it for this review. So, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this part of the season. Remember, episodes 10 to 17. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Were you as excited to see Mark Hamill as the Trickster as I was? Because as soon as I heard his voice, I was just like... Anyway, I'm going to stop fanboying now. Leave a like and subscribe for more Flash content / future Flash content. And I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.